Hey, how you guys doing? This is Neil from masterpaintingnow.com, one of the top art instructors on Udemy with over 60,000 happy students taking different courses like my most popular course, Anatomy for Figure Drawing. So I'm going to be showing you guys in this video how to do an animated HP potion like that. See how it's bubbling away? And this, it adds a little coolness factor. Just the fact it's bubbling, it shows like it's volatile. Anyway, we'll show how to do that. I did all the artwork in this video. The only thing that's not my design is the main character here. He's kind of a placeholder. I'm probably going to be replacing him with a character that's more larger, and I might make their head smaller too. I haven't decided if I want their heads like that, because if he looks normal, like let's say he looks like the dude in Castlevania. Anyway, getting sidetracked. If you guys like game art type stuff, you want to learn how to do things like all the UI up here I did, the GUI. That's the game user interface. This little piece up here, the score thing, the HP bar, how to do a cool HP bar. This is all done with pixel art. You can use Photoshop. I use Photoshop for pixel art as well. Little animated waterfall. This is kind of, just a little bit of movement. I was just to make it static, but I decided to add a little bit of movement to it. I could actually make a full-on animated waterfall, but it takes kind of a lot of time. Anyway, so yeah, how to do animated sprites. Let's say this right here is not the best. Like I said, I had to work with the artwork that was already there, and I kind of modify it to make it better. So you have to see the walk animation, but see how she's breathing there. And let me show you another character. Another character has like the same breathing animation, but she's a little bit different looking. Let me dispatch this guy and show you her animation. And that's really only one pixel movement. So one pixel to the left and one pixel up and then back down again to give her this kind of breathing animation. So when you work with pixel art, it's a little bit tricky because your sprites are so tiny, you don't have a whole lot of room to work with and where to place your pixels to get the details you want. But yeah, if you guys want to learn more about how to do pixel art, like see this crate in the foreground, that's actually from inspired almost directly from Streets of Rage 3. Looks almost just like it. So. But yeah, how to do spikes like that. You got to really think about how you want to do your pixel art because, yeah, I'll show you one other thing here real quick. The animation for, I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, there we go. The animation for the block right here. Watch when the thing hits me. See the little animation where it hits me? Little explosion. That's all pixel art too. And learning how to do cool stuff like that and how to do animated stuff like water or ooze down here, as you can see. But yeah, if you guys want to learn how to do more cool stuff, animated fire, let me know and I can make some more game art videos. Let's go and get started on how to do this potion though. Drop a few more down here so you can see. That's actually not part of the game. That's for testing purposes. And my spirit has left the building. Oh yeah, and how to do things like that. See how that little animation played when I died? Let me show you that one more time here. I have a thing set on my mouse. I can just kill me. See how I died? And dead. See the spirit floats up? Yeah, so anyway, let's go ahead and do this. So here's, you can see all the frames I have in GameMaker. You can actually use GameMaker. They have a built-in pixel art program that's actually pretty good. I actually drew all this in GameMaker. Yeah, so you can actually do it all in GameMaker if you wanted to. And you can actually, view it and everything. You can also do it in Photoshop. So I figured a lot of people probably have Photoshop. And so I think we'll do this one in Photoshop. This is what it looks like zoomed in. As you can see, we're working with just actual pixels here. There's no blending or pen tool here. It's all going to be the pencil tool. Let's go ahead and get started doing that. Oh yeah, basically, if you guys would like to see game art type stuff in the future, the best way to get that done is leave comments on this video and let me know what you want to see game art wise. All right. Alright, so in Photoshop here we're starting with a 20 by 30 pixel because that's how big you want it. The only reason I need the extra height is for the animated bubble part. Otherwise I wouldn't need the height. I'm going to put some sort of background for now. I like using neutral gray just so I have something to see. We're going to zoom way in here because we want to be able to see what we're doing. I'm going to do all this with a mouse. I think that's the easiest way to have control. So a lot of people don't know how to do this, so I'm going to show you how to do this in Photoshop. So first off, you want to left click and hold this down. I'm using Photoshop, the newest one, whatever it is you pay monthly for. So if yours look different, it should be the same. You just left click on the brush tool. So usually this is the default, the brush tool. Just left click and hold it down, and then you want to choose the pencil tool. And then for the eraser, so you can erase pixel by pixel, select the regular eraser tool. Now up here you have different modes. So you have the brush mode, pencil mode, block mode. You want to use the pencil mode. And then over here, make sure to choose your round pressure or just hard round. Either one of these will be fine because we're not going to be using pressure. Make sure the pen tool is the same way. And then hit the brackets to turn it down in size so you just have 1 pixel size. And then I like to do the same thing with my eraser. You can always go up and down in size here, but anyways, there we go. Kind of hard to see the little square, but hopefully you can kind of see it. First thing we're going to do is actually since we are, I'm going to make this a little bit darker, the background, since I am working with, we're going to be using more of a lighter gray color here for the outside of the glass. So just a neutral gray up here, right about like that. So, all right, so first thing I want to do is start with the top of the bottle, the shape, and then the overall shape of the bottle. I like to think about, make sure everything is going to divide correctly. So like the width. So for example, let's say you start with the top here, and actually the top of the bottle is going to be way down here. I'm thinking about doing a different shape bottle. That way because I want to do another type of potion anyway. So we're going to start with that shape right there. So it's just 2 squares clicked next together. And then we're going to have a lid, and the lid's going to be a little bit wider like that. So that's the shape of the lid there. And I like to start with this. That way I know that when I do the width of my bottle, I know it's going to be, oops. Actually, I'm going to erase this right here. I'm just deciding whether or not I want my bottle, because I want a different shape bottle. One trick you can do with pixel art is taking off the corners, and now suddenly you have something that looks more like a round bottle. And when you view this from further away, like how it's going to appear in the game, it actually looks pretty cool. So now we have a different shape potion bottle. I might actually keep it like that there, and you can also do like that, and that will give you a different look as well. So just taking off those corners again gives you a different look. So that's kind of cool. I kind of like that. So I'm thinking about this, because instead of just changing the color, I'm thinking about also changing the shape. That way, yeah. You can also add a little bit darker color, let's say a darker gray. Still on the eraser, that's why. A darker gray to the edges there, and that also adds a different look. Like that, for example. But I'm going to go ahead and keep it like this. Okay, so that's the overall look. I'm happy with that. The next part is we want to fill it in with the color. I think I'm going to go ahead and use red this time. You can change the color really easily anyway. Let's see here. Let's go with kind of a darker red like this. I'm going to fill it up almost to the top, which is here. And you can just fill this in. You can also just use the paint tool. So I have it on contiguous. Don't have anti-alias on. Leave that off. Tolerance set to 1, and this is really good for pixel art. Boom, fills right in. And then now we need to add like the different shadows and things like that. So I like to come down here with the darker version of the red, and I'm going to add just a couple pixels here. Maybe skip a pixel there like that. And zooming in and out is good. You can also use the thing up here where you can see it. So let's go to Window, and let's choose to view Navigator. This kind of shows us a smaller image, and we can zoom in and out easier as well. If you're not, I mean, I use the shortcut key anyway. It's easy to zoom in and out. But what I'm thinking is, how do I set? I forgot how to set this to where this side here. How do I change the size of? Oh, I guess that's as small as it goes. I want to actually go smaller, but that's about what it'll look like. It'll look a little bit smaller than in game, but it just gives you a good quick view to kind of just see something else. Anyway, I'm gonna add that color right there. I'm gonna go something like that, I think, for the edge. And then I want to take a color in between these two colors. And so I can see that over there the color is changing. I want it somewhere in between the two like this. I think that'll work. I might actually fade that out right there a little bit too. And then I might have a little bit of this up here like that. And that kind of adds a little bit of like, almost looks like dithering. It kind of looks like it's moving from one thing to the other. Now you can also select this area. I'm going to show you another trick you can do. So if you can't like think about the pixel idea here, another thing you can do is, let's just go back to all red for real quick here. I'm just going to click on the pure red again. Also, if you click here, then hold down the shift, you can just go, if you want to make a straight line, that's an easy way to make a straight line. Okay, so now it's just all back to red. So one thing you can do is you can pick the brush tool, and you want to select only inside this color here. I think I don't know, this might actually go outside. You want to uncheck anti-alias of this magic wand tool. And I think that will, yeah, that way we're only selecting that one color. Otherwise it'll start selecting some of the other stuff. Take the brush tool, set it to 1 pixel big, then use your dark color, and then just take that brush tool and kind of just brush it in here like this. And this is like, kind of gives you a, go back to this color here, the red, and it kind of blend back over. It'll kind of give you like an idea of what the colors will look like. And then you can take your tool again, your pencil tool. You can individually select some of these colors and go, okay, I think I want that color there. Select this color here, maybe bring it up a little bit more like that. Maybe bring a couple more pixels up here like this and grab this, and voila. So now you have more, you know, you accomplish something very similar without having to think about the pixels so much. And you can actually use your graphic tablet to get that kind of smoothness there with the brush. Just kind of hit a couple times. Okay, that's a cool trick. But now we need to add some sort of gloss. So you got to think about the liquid itself isn't probably going to have much reflection. It's such a small image. You don't want to try to show that part of the liquid. You just want to show the actual highlight right here. That's going to be like from the glass itself. So you have light, let's say, coming from the kind of top, maybe a little bit to the left. Be consistent with your game. And this is going to be the actual glass, but some of the, you know, red color is going to come through into the glass. So we're going to pick kind of a pinkish white color. And I'm just going to add literally a line like that. And that's probably all you need, but maybe, I'm just debating where this should go. Sometimes trial and error, take one off, bring it back. I'm going to put 2 like that. Then I'm going to go a little bit darker and a little more desaturated. I'm going to put 2 like that. So that way it kind of dithers off a little bit. And maybe put 2 more here and here. So I want to see how that looks. That looks pretty good, and it looks like kind of like, you know, but honestly, I think the highlight would go more up and down. So let's go ahead and do that. That is, I think the highlight on the bottle would just kind of be like right about here, like so. And I'm going to go down here for that one. That way it kind of has this kind of, maybe you have one right here. Yeah, that way it kind of like goes kind of smooth. And then you can try, you know, mess around putting a couple on the edges here just to see how that looks. And I don't like them on that side. That's too much. On this side it looks pretty good. Might even go just a little bit darker right here and less saturated, because that's where the light's hitting. So the reason I'm using less saturation here is because this is the outside of the bottle. This isn't the liquid itself. The liquid itself is very saturated, but where the light is reflecting off of the bottle, the glass itself is going to be less saturated because the light is being mixed with a lot of the white light that's bouncing. Reflected light tends to be desaturated, meaning that more gray, more toward the white. White is completely desaturated. Black is completely desaturated. All gray. Everything on the left-hand side here is completely desaturated. The more you go to the right, the more saturation. The more you go to the left, the less saturation. That is, the more gray, black, white, that's desaturated. A lot of people forget that white is desaturation. And the more you go toward color, like this over here, the more saturated. And this is the most saturated, this top right-hand corner. As you go down toward the black, it gets less desaturated. But this right here, that color is still a lot more saturated than if you went anywhere over in here, because there's still a lot of color in there. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense. So that's the base of your bottle. Once you have the base of the bottle done, then it's a matter of actually animating the bottle. And you can also mess around with having a really dark color down here, like let's say in the corner. And that kind of just adds that. Actually, you know what? You can even, let's say because the glass would probably reflect dark color somewhere in here, like that. And then we'll go a little bit lighter and maybe add a couple right there. And that adds a kind of a cool look to it as well. Okay. And I'm looking up at this small little version as well. Then what we want to do is we want to have the liquid bubble up through here and then come out and make a couple bubbles. Now you can actually animate this in Photoshop, and then you can save it as a GIF file, and you can actually load that GIF file right into GameMaker, which is kind of cool. But you might want to do the rest animation in GameMaker, so you might want to just save this, and you could have drew all of this in GameMaker actually. One thing I might want to do is be consistent with my color of my glass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my image really fast. So here's the other one I did. I'm just bringing this up so I can grab this exact, it's kind of like a bluish gray. I'm going to bring that gray to here. And you can also just use the paint bucket tool and just click right on it, and it's going to make this the color you want it. Not much different, but I really want that to be consistent in my game, like so. You can think of different kind of shapes. You can use the same kind of system to make all different kinds of shapes for bottles. Just remember that it's the edges often that you'll be cutting off. You can also mess around with, what if I were to cut off this? What would that look like? And that doesn't look right at all. It looks like it's broken. You can go, what if I came up one more? What would that look like? So it does give you a slightly different look, and it's kind of cool. So anyway, yeah, mess around with that kind of stuff. You can also go, what if I wanted a square bottom? So these gives you different kinds of shape vials. How to do bricks is actually really easy. I just want to show that really fast, because you want to start out with your square grid. So let's say like that, and you have that up there, and you have this down here. So this is like your squares, right? Once you have your squares, then it's just a matter of, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna act like this is my bricks like that, even though it's not. Anyway, we'll go like that. So then you just want to add inside here like this on all the corners. That's all you do. And it kind of makes these eyes inside here, however you want to think about it. And then bam, and as you see small over here, you have bricks. That's how I did the bricks in my game, so it's really cool. And then when you get to like the outer edges, you can take them away. Oops. Right in between here like this. I put that one in the wrong area. That's the pattern, pretty much like that, and then when you're zoomed out, it looks like bricks. And it's a pretty cool, easy way to do bricks. Okay, so back to the animation of the bottle. Alright, so then I'm going to use the base color, which is this red color here. Now, to animate in Photoshop, what you want to do is you want to go to the window here and then choose Tool Preset or Timeline. Open up the timeline. You want to just create a frame animation, which is right here. So just click it. You have to actually, it's almost not intuitive. It almost doesn't look like a button. So choose the frame animation, then actually click it, and then you'll have your frame animation here. And then you want to just go, each frame is each layer. So that's how it works. So when you create a new frame, you want to make sure that you have a new layer for that frame. So I'm just going to show part of the animation here. If you guys want to see like the full animation, just goes like one bubble pop and then the second bubble pop, and then it just keeps looping between that. I'm just going to have a one bubble pop so you guys can know how to do the bubble pops and how you should do bubbles when you're dealing with pixel art like this. I'm going to go ahead and do so here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm going to do five layers, 5 frames. And I'm going to set these to 0 for right now. Actually, probably look better if I set them to 1.1 second. I could have did that first and then made them. That would have been faster. Because when you make new ones, it'll make them at whatever speed you're at. Okay, and now from here, I want level 1 or layer 1. Here, I want layer 2. I'm going to make a copy of this layer, like so. Actually, I don't have to make a copy of the layer. I can leave that base layer there, because all I'm going to be doing is making a new layer. This layer is going to be visible on all layers, so this new layer is going to be the beginning of my. I'm going to zoom in some more here. Grab this middle red color like that. So the first thing I want to do is I want to fill this part right here up. So that's going to be one layer of animation is going to be to fill part of this up like that. Maybe this right here. And this kind of bottle is like maybe it's a closed-in bottle, so it might also fill this up, or at least fill up that line. I'm going to go like this actually. And so now we have, turn this layer off for the first. Now this layer, whatever layers you have on each frame. So now you have that animation like that going back. And then we're going to go to the third one. We're going to add a new layer. Now, sometimes if you turn this off like that, then go back to see how it's still on this layer. There's actually a way to make that not happen, and I forget how to do it now. I haven't used Photoshop in a little bit. There's a way to like, what did you have to do? You have to click something, and it like sets it. I'm just trying to think really fast how to do that. It's really not that hard either. I just can't remember how to do it now. You can also do tweens, I think. How do you do that? Because see how it's active in every layer? Anyway, I can't remember now. So I'm going to go through each one and make sure it's turned off on that first layer. All right, and it's active on this layer. So on this one, I want to bring that red back as well. So I still want the red, but I want it like it's. I'm debating whether it's like shooting up like this now. So that same liquid that was there, and you can just kind of go back and forth and see now it's jumping up into the upper chambers of the bottle because it's like a it's bubbling away. I want to make it look like it's bubbling away. I might leave one in here so it's like bloom, it's kind of working its way up because I kind of want to show the displacement. Let me see what that looks like. That bloom. You can also hit play. Yeah, see that just kind of looks more like it's changing. So I want it to look more like it's rapidly popping from one to the other. So I want to get rid of this. That way it pops up to the next thing. Otherwise, it kind of looks like it's just transferring. It doesn't look right. Might even get rid of these two top things right here. This doesn't show quite the right amount of displacement. That's all right. And then the next frame, I'll make a new layer. And I wish I remembered how to do this. Maybe go back to this first frame. And if I uncheck it here, it should be unchecked everywhere else. Yeah, and then I can just check it where I want it. Okay, now we're going to have the bubble actually come out of the bottle. I want it to be 1 pixel away from the top here. Because otherwise it just kind of, it doesn't look right. And I want it to kind of come off to the side. I want it to just go straight up and down. So I'm going to have it kind of come off to the side a little bit. And how I like to do bubbles is either like this. So that's one way to do a pixelated bubble. If you want it to be a larger bubble, then you would want to do it like this. 2 here, 2 here, and 2 up here like that. That's how you do a circle. Like so. And so now it's going to be like empty. And then it's going to bubble up like that. And then I want this bubble to kind of move. Now I want to start off as a small bubble because I want the bubble to grow. So we're going to go back and we're going to make that a small bubble. And this is the only way to do a pixelated circle is like that. So it's kind of like almost like a star. You can try to do dithering outside, but it's so small you really can't do much else to make it look like a circle. And then I think I'm gonna need more layers too. But anyway, that's fine. More frames. Let's go ahead and make one more. I'm gonna click on the first one again, and then uncheck that, and then go back here and I'll check it. And also, if you want to kind of see what you're doing, you can select the layer underneath so you kind of know where you're going. But I know I'm going to be going up here somewhere, so I want it to kind of flow up this way. And so now I'm going to make it get bigger. You can keep it small if you want, like so. You can also maybe change the color a little bit, maybe get it brighter as it's moving upward, right before it pops. Let's go ahead and play this, see what it looks like so far. That actually looks pretty good. I might have one more frame before it pops, so let me go ahead and make one more frame here. Back to layer 1, or frame 1. Unselect that. Let's make a new frame here. And we're going to activate this one now. And I'm going to come up here. I'm going to make this really bright. And we're going to come right about here before it pops. I want it to kind of look erratic, so that's why I'm not just going up at a straight path. Notice the last one is here. Now it's kind of like moved to the right just a little bit. And so that gives us kind of, see? A kind of erratic movement. I might actually set the frame rate to be faster because I'm drawing everything so close together. Next is really a pop. You can either do as 1 frame or 2 frames. So let's go ahead and like that. And notice that it's going to give me this, see all these frames. So let's go back to frame 1, turn that off. Now they're all turned off. See that? For the top layer, and then we're going to turn that one back on. And for the pop, it's really simple. You just want to add a couple pixelated dots. So starting, you can do either diagonal or straight up and down. You literally just want a few shapes like that. Now you can start small and then go big like this. So I'm going to cut that out real quick. It's an easy way to delete it. So let's say we have it here. I'm going to start kind of from the center. So it almost looks like it implodes first. Like that. So a shape like that. And then I might just start to show that it's popping. And then we'll have one more layer here. One more frame rather, which is also another layer. Make sure to go back to 1 before you make this new layer and then turn it off here. And then click back over here. That's like a workaround how to get that to work right. I want to turn this off. Actually, I'm going to leave that on for a second just so I can have an idea where it's at. I want this to be over here now. Let's say that's over there. That's over there. I want this kind of shape to be like it's changed a little bit and it's over there. Now we can turn that off and let's see what that looks like. Watch this little icon over here. That's the one I'm looking at. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So then you can go, I should have left this at no delay, and then I could have set delay if I wanted a delay. You can also change things. So like, let's say you want something to last a little bit longer, like 1 frame, then you can leave that. Let's say the last frame, we'll leave it to 1. So that explosion just stays a little bit longer. See that? But if you don't like that, you can also turn that off. That's just about timing. There we go. So now it looks like it's, like it's bubbling away. And see, I like that. Honestly, like that little bit of animation where it comes up through the glass. See, that little bit of animation where it comes up through the glass really does make a difference in how the animation looks. If that wasn't there, it wouldn't look so much like it was bubbling up through it. And another thing you can also try is just experiment with stuff and go, hey, what if I, let's go back to the layer I was on here. What if I do add what if I do add those 2 right there? That's the wrong color, but whatever. See, that doesn't look right. It looks weird, doesn't it? So it just doesn't look right. So let's go back and take those out. Looks better like that. So just that one line looks the best. And the blue bottle, I did it similarly like that. So I had it go up and then just right to the center, not to the edges. So it just goes up. But this is all straight, so it starts here and then it went here. Now you can also connect the bottle like I did here. So you can have a solid piece connecting this part to this part. Right now I have it's all open, but I could have had a solid piece right there. So that's another option. That would be on the main bottle layer. And unfortunately these layers are going over that, so I'd have to go back and change that, but grab that color. So I could have it like that, and that's a different looking bottle. But I really like how it is like this. This is a different kind of looking bottle, and it looks cool. Yeah, so basically if you wanted to make it to where it's like bubbling back and forth like my other bottle, you can do that as well. And remember, I'm trying to keep the explosion within this thing. I can make it larger. That is, I can make this canvas larger, but I like it like this. I want to try to keep it small. I don't want the bubbles going too high. But if I wanted the bubbles to go a little bit higher or explode a little bit bigger, I can make the canvas a little bit bigger. So it basically is, then you just want to start back over again. And obviously that would be, the next frame would be nothing. And then the next frame after that, you would start with the bubbling. Or actually, the next frame, you can just start with bubbles again. So if I make another frame, you know what, this video is already long. What if I just go ahead and do this really fast? This only takes a second. So let's go, we'll make a small bubble this time. So we're going to start right here. We'll make a new frame. Voila. We'll make a new layer. Like so. Oops, I forgot to turn off there first on frame 1, then go back to this frame and then turn it on. Let's make sure we're using this right red color here. We're going to do the exact same thing again. We're going to fill this up first. Then we're going to make a new frame. Click on frame 1. Click on new layer. Uncheck it. Then go back to layer 10. And we'll turn this layer back on, that layer off. And we'll add 2 dots here. Bam, like that. You can also cycle back through because it's the exact same thing. So you can actually just cycle back through these layers instead of redrawing it. So actually, maybe I should do that because let's go ahead and just undo this real quick. Okay, I think that's, gotta undo a little bit more. Okay, so remember we had these frame here, so layers, this is layer 2 and 3. So if I just go back here and I create a new frame, then on that frame I can turn this off and just turn on this right here. See that? instead of redrawing, I just turn that layer back on, because why redraw something again? And then on this frame here, I can turn this on and this off. So now I already have that part, and then I can make another frame, and this is where I'll need a new layer. Make that new layer, go back to frame 1, turn that layer off, go back to frame 11, and then we'll turn that layer back on. And now I'm ready to make the next part. So I'm going to just go ahead and make the first, this one's going to come off more this way, and we're going to keep this bubble small. So this bubble is going to stay like this the whole time. So there's one, and I'll make a new frame, make a new, go to layer 1, make a new layer, turn it off here, turn this off, turn this on, and we're going to go up to the right a little bit, like so you can go back and forth, kind of see how you're moving that. I kind of want to do an arc like this. We're going to make a new frame, click on frame 1, click on new layer, make that layer invisible, go back to the last frame we had, make that one visible, make the new frame visible. Just get an idea where that's at. Kind of want to come up this way. So it's kind of going an arc like that, and then I think that's pretty much it. And then I think I want it to pop the next frame, so or at least start to pop. So let's go like this. Same thing again. Make a new layer. Uncheck it there so it's invisible. And we're going to start with the pop. So I'm going to start right in the center. I think this time I might have it a really volatile implosion like that, and then explosion. So that's the implosion, and the next frame will be the explosion. I'm going to go ahead and leave it like that so I can see what I'm doing here. Like that, and turn that off. Now it's a little bit too perfect, so we can take some of this and actually I'm just going to go back like that. Okay. We're going to kind of make it more like that. And this is a smaller bubble, so the things are smaller as well. Let's make one more frame here and go back, make a new layer, turn it off here, go back here. I'm going to leave that layer on for right now just so I can kind of have an idea where these would be going out. These ones, some of them go faster, so it's further, more distance traveled. Some of them didn't travel as far. And we'll turn that off and we'll take a look and see what that looks like. And there you have it. You have a bubbling potion, elixir of life, or maybe a fire or something. I don't know what this elixir does. Oh, you know what? I see this error right there. So what's happening here? We go here, and it's not being turned off, so I got to turn this layer off. And how long did I carry? Oh, I carried it over the whole time. That's why it looks so weird. And there we go. Now it should look right. So I look at both. I look at the big one and I look at the small one just to get a... Alright, cool. Now there's a couple of different ways. If you don't animate this in Game Maker and you want to import the sprite into Game Maker, there's a couple ways to do it. One of the easiest ways is actually to save this out as a GIF. And since it's already pixel art, that's great. Sometimes though, if you're working with something more refined and it's not like pixel art, saving it as a GIF is going to kind of turn to pixel art. So you might want to choose like the 256, or you might have to save it out and make frames and then save it out as frames. That takes a lot more work though. Anyway, so rather than having to save this out in a bunch of frames, because it takes a lot longer to do that. Now, if you do want a frame saved out, like you want like a slide saved out, what you can do is first save this as a GIF, an animated GIF, import that into Game Maker, and then in Game Maker export that, and it'll export it as a PNG with your all your frames separated, how they should be separated. Just keep in mind that if you want to take the time to cut each one of these up and make it into a thing, that you just remember the size of this. So just do a little bit of math. Go, okay, I have 16 frames, so it's going to be a 16 long strip, and or you can go like 8 and then 8, so have 8 on the top, 8 on the bottom or something, however you want to do it. And then just make sure that each thing is going to be 20, just keep that in mind. Like, so go, okay, my image is 20 or 30 pixels tall and 20 pixels wide, 16 times 20, right? So you know it's going to be, if you make it one long strip, you know it's going to be 30 pixels tall. So make your next file 30 pixels tall by 16 times 20 pixels wide. And then you can take each one of these and copy and paste in there. That takes a lot of time. It's much faster just to save this as a GIF. So go like this, export. We're going to go to save for web. This brings up this option up here. JPEG, we're going to choose GIF. Now you can do 256 colors if you want. You can also do 128. 256 is as high as you can go. Notice that if I do 4, that obviously is going to change how my bottle looks. If I do 8, it probably won't change too much how my bottle looks because that's about how many colors I used anyway. Nope. See how it doesn't do this part here well because there's not enough colors. So 16 colors. So it's about a 16-bit. Yeah, 16 colors works perfect. See that? So saving it out this way, if you can, try to always use the least amount of colors as possible because it's going to make your game run that much better. See that? That does add a little bit of difference. Let me see. 64. Yeah, 64 doesn't. So once you see, like, I'm just looking for a difference on my bottle. So 8 obviously makes a difference. 16, and I don't think 32 made a difference. So go back. Yeah, see, nothing changed. But it might have changed frame by frame. Wow, that's super fast. That's fine though because you're gonna adjust that speed in GameMaker anyway, or whatever program you're working in. So we already know it works good. We just have to change the speed when we go. Now, if you wanted to save that out to look a certain way as a GIF file, then you'd want to go and change the speed to like 0.01 and then go back and resave it again. So make each one. Right now it's 0 seconds. Go back and make each of these 0.1 second, and when you come back into and view the GIF, it's not going to be all crazy like that. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit so I can get more of an idea how it looks. See, like right now, this looks like that looks so crazy. It looks like a strobe light fireworks show or something. But yeah. So anyway, it's fine though because we're going to change the speed in GameMaker. But anyway, 16 seemed like it worked just fine. Yeah, I don't see anything changing frame to frame. But what I'm looking for is if I see any dithering or weirdness happening, and I don't. So looks like I drew it with 16 bits. Cool. And then we're going to save this. Save it as whatever you want to save it as. Call it whatever you want to call it. S underscore, I don't know, whatever you want to name it. Just name it whatever you want. And then you can open that up in GameMaker. I might go ahead and show that really fast just in case. GameMaker is totally free. The trial, well, it's not even a trial version. It's the free version. It's just limited. Like you can only use so many sprites in your game. It's really good to learn how to start coding. And once you get good enough at it, then you're gonna want to buy the basic pro version, which gives you access to the marketplace and putting stuff on the marketplace, your games, or little, like say you come up with a really cool way to do dialogue system. You can actually sell your dialogue engine on the GameMaker marketplace, or you can also sell assets. So let's say you draw some really cool assets, you can offer them. So let's say you draw a whole entire potion bottle set, you can actually sell that asset on GameMaker marketplace. If it came with enough bottle types, because colors are really easy to manipulate. But if you had enough bottle types of potions, or just a bunch of different stuff, let's say you had potions and I don't know, hearts and I don't know, just different things that you might find in games that are animated, then you can sell a little package for like $2 and people will buy it. So as long as the artwork's good. All right, so let's go ahead and save this out. Then I'll open up GameMaker and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm just saving this into this file here as s_magic. And I'm gonna go back to GameMaker. I'm gonna show you guys how to import a GIF file. It's really easy. So first thing, I'm gonna go to sprites here. You can actually just drag and drop it in here and it'll automatically work, honestly. So that's one way to do it, is just go to your file over here and just drag and drop it in. But I'm going to go ahead and show you this way to do it. So let's go ahead and go to our sprites here. I'm going to right click on sprite. I'm going to create a new sprite, and I'm going to name this s_magic. So I think this will be my magic potion that gives you like some sort of fire or something. I don't know yet. And then we're going to double click that to make sure that's what's open. You can import this way. You can also go to edit image, and you have this new option up here for image. And then we can import images, convert to frames, import strip image. Right now I don't think this will work because it's not a strip image. Yeah, so it's not going to work that way. You can also export. So once you have the thing there, you can export it, but I'll show you that in just a second. So I think we can, I think you just choose import images. I'm just trying to see, I'm trying to remember, I usually just drag and drop it in, so I'm trying to see. Okay, so it's not, oh wait, what am I, okay, that's why I didn't see it. I'm on the wrong thing. Let me go back to, hold on a second. Let's go back to strip image. I just want to see because I was on the wrong thing there. S magic, let's see if that shows up here. Here's my, this one, S magic. Oh, you know what, I forgot to, let's, hold on. So this is good. This way you want to keep your thing open. Don't close your Photoshop file until you know you're done, until you know everything works right. Or I would recommend always saving a copy of the Photoshop file anyway, so you can always go back to it. So like that. And actually, wait, I want to go back to frame 1, and hopefully this will turn it off for all of them. Nope, damn it, I forgot to do this. So when you're animating, because this, especially if your animation has a lot of frames in it, going frame by frame and doing this is kind of irritating. Actually, wait, I think I can select all of them by holding down, hold down the shift key, left click on number 7, hold down the shift key, left click on 16, and bam, there we go. Okay. I figured that was how you can do it. And I'm going to go ahead and play this one more time just to make sure everything is okay, cool. And we're going to go, now I'm going to save it one more time. Export, save for web. Everything here is good. I already have the, oh wait, where's that? There it is. Let me just save over that because I don't need that one anymore. Replace it, go back to Game Maker, and we'll go to image here and where we left off, and I'm going to import as strip image. And I think this will work even though it's not a strip image. It's a GIF, but I think it should still work. Let me find out. And actually, it's not going to work. So what this does is allows you to, if you have a strip image that has a bunch of images on, next to each other, you can cut it up how you want, so it divides it up nicely. If you guys are interested in learning that kind of stuff, let me know. But let's go back to, we're going to, I think you convert to frames. No. Image, I think it's just import images. I think that's how it works for, like I said, you can always just drag and drop it in, but I think this is how it works. I want to resize the canvas to imported images. And that doesn't work either. Okay, so I guess I can't remember how to do it. I thought there's a way to import from a GIF this way, but if there's not, then all you do is just open it up in your folder, which is here, and just drag and drop it right into your game. And it'll say you want to say yes, and then there you have it. Okay, for some reason, nothing's happening here. I can see all the frames there, but for some reason it's not wanting to play. I think I might have, sometimes Game Maker's stupid, and let me go ahead and try something here. Okay, I'm just making sure I don't have more than one over here. Let's see if it, does it play it here? Yeah, so I think I ran into some sort of, oh wait, I have a speed 0. I don't know why it was on speed 0. That's weird. So I probably want to try different speeds. That speed looks pretty good. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here so you kind of see this a little better. I think I want a little bit faster than that. So that's really volatile. So I think maybe 19. That looks pretty good. So if you go back to edit image again, now I can view it here like this. I kind of like how this one gets bright when it pops, right before it pops. That looks really cool, how the color changes to bright. And you can while it's playing, you can actually zoom in and out. All right, cool. So that looks really good. I like it. Now, if you wanted a PNG of this for some reason, that an actual strip image that you can then go back and edit frames if you wanted to or something, then you just go to Image and Export to PNG. And now it automatically tells, Game Maker automatically knows how many strips are in it, so it knows that there's 16 frames, so it automatically renames it for you. And you just save it, And voila. So now if I go back to Photoshop, I'm going to go ahead and close this because I don't need it anymore. Now I can go ahead and open that strip image, which was where did it go? There it is. Boom. Now it's a strip PNG. So now it's all set out for me, as you can see. So if this really comes in handy for making. Actually, it didn't do it right though. Sometimes it does make a mistake. So notice how that's weird. Why did it save it like that? Is it? Oh, I know. Never mind. My bad. So I have Photoshop my grid set to 32 by 32 right now. So I can go and change that. So anyway, these lines you're seeing, I just turn those off. What you're seeing there is just a grid that I have set in Photoshop. I can go and reset that grid. Now, if you want to be able to see the actual grid, like you want to be able to see the lines, just know how big. You have to set your grid for the size of your images. So in this case, I know that this was 20 by 30, so it's 20 pixels wide. The up and down doesn't really matter too much, but if I want the lines going wide, then I have to change my grid to match that. And so Photoshop doesn't make that easy, which is kind of unfortunate. Like you can't just go and, here's my grid, whatever, and that's snap to, but you can't just go and change your grid here, not that I know of. What pixel? I never actually used pixel grid before. Anyway, I think I have to go to Edit and Preferences, and then Grids. Put this on the right screen so you guys can see it. And right now, every grid, so a grid line every 32 pixels is where I have it right now. So I can change that to 20. I don't know if there's a way to do height. Like right now, it's just going to change the top and bottom. I wonder if there's a way to make the grid. You can also change the color here. Subdivision 1. That's weird. I wonder why it doesn't have a height and width for grid lines. So right now, it's just the grid is a straight grid. In other words, it's going to be squares. You can't make it rectangles. So that kind of sucks. But it's all right because you can ignore the other line. All you need is these vertical lines to know the spacing between each frame. And so what you can do is you can make an animated character, for example, save it as a GIF, because it's a really pain in the butt to save it out as individual frames. So just save it as a GIF like I just did. So let's say we're working on an animated sprite, like a walking sprite or something, the walk cycle animation. So you would save it out as a GIF like we did, import it into Game Maker, which is free, like I said. You can do all this with a free version. So import it into Game Maker, and then in Game Maker, after you import it into Game Maker, just by dragging and dropping it, then you can go to open that image, and then go to Image, and then export to PNG, and then it'll automatically save it however many strips it is. And then just remember that what your file size was. That way you know how big the width is. All you're worried about, so you know how big the width is. Now, unfortunately, if you want the height as well, so let's say you don't want a vertical strip like this, you want 8 frames on the top, 8 frames on the bottom, you can actually animate that way as well in Game Maker. And if you have your animation done that way, I would recommend working in a perfect square just to make it easier to view on Photoshop. So whatever, because you can have as much blank space around your character as you need, as long as everything fits inside that square and everything is centered where you need it to be centered. So let's say, I don't know, your character is like 64 pixels tall, then just do it in a 64 by 64 square. Just animate that way. And then you can have, let's say it's longer than 8 frames, you can have the first 8 frames on the top and the rest of the frames on the bottom. And anyway, that way you match your grid in Photoshop. Just makes it easier to see top to bottom. But yeah, so there you go. That's how you do it. So hopefully you guys learned something from this very long video. I showed a lot of cool shit, so hopefully it all is useful to you. I could have made this video a lot shorter, I think, but then there wouldn't have been as much information in it. That's for sure. But I definitely could have made it shorter anyways. I could distill all this information in a shorter video, but that's what I tend to do my paid courses for. This is free, and I just like kind of have some time, and I'm like, oh, you know what, I should make a video, and I don't write a script or anything. I just kind of boom, here's a free video. So sorry about the fact that it kind of goes on longer than it needs to. If you guys want just straight to the point type stuff where there's no everything is just point by point by point. There's no me going off on a tangent or anything like that. It's just very professional, point by point. That's how my courses are done. So even my course that's super long, it's my most popular course, my anatomy course. Even that one, even though it's a very long course, it still goes point to point to point. And then some of my newer courses, I've even distilled it down even more to where I can pack just as much information in it, but make them shorter with shorter videos as well. I do plan on making a new course, a new anatomy course, like a crash anatomy course, because not everyone wants to spend 60 hours to learn human anatomy on how. And it's only human anatomy as it applies to drawing the human figure. But I think I'm gonna take all that and like distill it down into the most important stuff that is really necessary to know, and maybe make it like a 4 or 5 hour course. So it's gonna be a 5 hour anatomy crash course for figure drawing, something like that. Yeah, if you guys want to see more stuff like this, just leave comments. That's the best way to make sure that this kind of stuff continues. So if you don't take the time to leave a quick comment, think about it. Every person that's like, oh, I'm sure someone else will, don't think like that, because they don't. No one else does. So if you really want to see me do more videos on this kind of stuff, I need your feedback, guys. So please take the time, if you've enjoyed this, you want to see more videos like this, to leave a comment. Let me know what you want to see. Like what other kind of video game art stuff do you want to see? What kind of, what other kind of things you want to draw for your games that you're not sure how to do? Maybe a waterfall. I know that one's hard. A lot of people have difficult times animating a waterfall. There's really cool old school ways to animate a waterfall, and there's some new school ways as well. And it is a little bit time consuming, but I am considering making like a waterfall type effect for the game, just for it's in there. That way they can just kind of place it wherever you want to place it at. Yeah, so anyway, all right, thanks for watching.